Welcome to Marvelous French, in-depth French lessons for students of all levels. In this lesson, we're going to look at numbers 30 through 69 in French. This is actually part 3 of a multi-lesson series on numbers. In part 1, we looked at numbers 0 through 10. In part 2, we went over 11 through 29. Links to these lessons are in the description box below. Here, we're going to go over 30 through 69. So first, let's take a look at numbers 30, 40, 50, and 60 as they form the base of what we'll need to count from 30 through 69. 30 is trente. 40 is quarante. 50 is cinquante. And 60 is soixante. Notice that the X in 60 is pronounced like an S. Soixante. So let's look at all of those together. Trente, quarante, cinquante, soixante. Now, a lot of times people studying French get numbers 3 through 6 mixed up with 13 through 16 and 30 through 60 because they can sound and look a bit similar. So someone may say 13, which is 13, when they mean to say 30, which is 30, or 15, which is 15, instead of 50. So just a little tip to help avoid confusion. It may help to remember that 13 through 16 all end in ZE, pronounced Z. 13, 14, 15, 16. 30 through 60 all end in NTE and have the final sound ent. 30, 40, 50, 60. Now, numbers in French build on each other like they do in English. So if you know 30, 40, 50, and 60, and you already know how to count from 1 through 9, you have just about everything you need to count from 30 through 69. Before we start counting, let's just go over a few notes, many of which we discussed in our lesson on 11 through 29, but they bear repeating. So first of all, let's talk about numbers that end in 1. The French word for and, which is et, is included for numbers between 21 and 71 that end in 1. So on the left-hand side, we see 21 through 71. 21, for example, is 21, which is literally 20 and 1. The rest of the numbers ending in 1 follow the same pattern. 31 is 31, literally 30 and 1. 41 is 41, and so on. Now 71 also includes a, which again means and, but the number itself is actually a combination of 60 and 11. We'll cover that in another lesson. For now, we're focused on 31 through 61, which all end in et1 and 1. Now on the right side, we see numbers that end in something other than 1. In that case, we don't use a, and, we just combine the numbers the same way we do in English. Notice that a hyphen is placed between the numbers that end in 2 through 9. So 33, for example, is 33, literally 33. 44 is 44, 55 is 55, etc. Now again, 70 works a bit differently, but the general idea is that we include a, meaning and, for numbers between 21 and 71 that end in 1. Now another note, the number 1, un, becomes une, une before feminine noun. So nouns in French have gender, they're either masculine or feminine. When most numbers ending in the word un, which means 1, come before a feminine noun, un becomes une. This doesn't apply to 71 or 91 because they work a bit differently, but we'll look at that in following lessons on those numbers. Still, in most cases, un becomes une. So for example, 31 is 31. 31 women, however, is 31 femmes, because the word for women, femme, is feminine in French. So if we compare 31 men, 31 hommes, with 31 women, 31 femmes, we see that one is pronounced un with the masculine noun meaning men, but une with the feminine noun femme, meaning women. So we have 31 men, 31 hommes, but 31 women, 31 femmes. 31 hommes, 31 femmes. And a final note before we count from 30 through 69. As we briefly mentioned before, hyphens are used for numbers that are spelled out in writing that end in 2 through 9. So let's look at 30 through 39 here. You can see that 32 through 39 all have hyphens between the two numbers. 32, for example, is written 30-2, 30-2. Now you may notice that we did not include hyphens for number 31. This is because the hyphens are optional for numbers between 21 and 71 that end in 1. Optional, but often not included. So in general, if a number ends in 1 and you're writing it out, no hyphen. If it ends in 2 through 9, hyphens are included. And again, this is for numbers 21 through 71. With those notes out of the way, let's look at 30 through 39. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. Now let's look at 40 through 49. 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. And the pattern continues with 50 through 59. 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. By now you should be an expert. I think you know how it's going to go for 60 through 69, so here we go. 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69. And that concludes our lesson on numbers 30 through 69. We'll look at numbers 70 and above in future lessons. In the meantime, if you found this video helpful, please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Until then, à la prochaine. See you next time.